Well, good morning to you. And I wonder if you have ever had an opportunity to fly. I'm talking about in an aeroplane, or if you're a frequent flyer when you last had the opportunity to fly. But if you have ever been in an aeroplane, you would have been subjected to the compulsory safety briefing. And I remember the first international trip I did after my children had been born, and I actually had them on the flight with me. I think my oldest was 10 and my youngest was 2. And I was sitting listening to a briefing which I had heard before. And the air hostess came down the little passageway there, and she said, in case of emergency, air masks will drop from the ceiling. If you are traveling with a minor, please put on your own mask before helping the minor. And I thought to myself, really? Would I ever put on my own mask before I helped my 3 children? Of course, I would have put on their masks first before helping myself. But you know, the bottom line is that the airlines are right. In case of an emergency or decreased cabin pressure, we first need to put on our own masks, and then we help those around us who are more vulnerable. I know it's counterintuitive, but it's completely necessary. And to take the aeroplane analogy further, I want to say that we really are flying through turbulent times at the moment. And sometimes it feels like we ourselves are experiencing a reduction of cabin pressure, and that the air that we are breathing actually feels rather thin. We're desperately aware of the need of others around us, and we want to reach out to them and to help them. And so if you're a teacher, you'll be desperately aware of the need of the children in your class and all the issues that they have faced over this time. If you're a pastor, you'll be moved by compassion for your church family and for those beyond you. If you're in the workplace and in your neighborhood, you would have been exposed to stories which have really probably broken your heart, and your natural inclination is just to immediately go and to reach out. And those things we must do. But I do want to just take us back to another time in history, and that is to the disciples in the book of Acts. And I think you'll all know that Pastor Louis is currently preaching through the book of Acts. And at that time, the church too was going through a very turbulent time. And Jesus' words were so interesting. He said to the disciples, he said, go and wait in a room. He said, wait together in prayer and in unity, and the Holy Spirit will come upon you. Now, I imagine if I was a disciple, I would have been bursting to get going with the work of the ministry, and wow, wait, I want to get going with, everything that's actually happening. But what Jesus said to them was, go and wait until the breath of the Spirit comes upon you, to revive you, to comfort you, to empower you, to counsel you. And I suspect he was going, you're going to need it. And then you go into the world and you begin to meet the needs of the world. And so we see the early church first empowered and then going. Am I saying waiting until they were perfect, waiting until they felt 100% okay? No, I'm really not saying that, and I'm not saying that to us today. Of course, we're not saying that. But we do need to wait on the Lord to be strengthened ourselves before we go and we meet the needs that we see around us. And so my encouragement is that each day that we would wait on the Lord, that we would find time to just breathe with him, that we would bring him into our circumstances, that we would ask him to see as he sees, to understand as he understands, to love as he loves, to move with his Spirit as he would want us to move, and not as we would just want to move. And so this is a time where we need to pray ourselves for the continual infilling of the Holy Spirit in our lives, that we might then impart. And so from the place that I started, I want to say it is so important that on a daily basis that you get your oxygen mask on and that you get into a good breathing rhythm. Once you have got your oxygen mask on, you then turn to those who are vulnerable around you. You know, there will be those who also feel that they can't breathe in this time. It might be physiological, it might be just a figurative not breathing. There are those around us who are ill, who've got economic loss, who've got marital strife, depression, anxiety of children starting school, all these sort of things. And as you minister to those people and you begin to help them to put their oxygen masks on, it's so important that you are doing that from a place where you personally are revived and comforted and counseled. And please remember that you will never be able to breathe for anybody else. But what you can do is you can help them to put on their oxygen mask. And you can say, this is how I am able to breathe in this particular season. And can I help you to put on your oxygen mask so that you might be able to breathe at a particular rhythm and in a sustainable way. And so that's just the little nugget that I would like to share with you this morning. And so the little message is this: put on your own oxygen mask first, and then help those who are around you.